Welcome to another edition of the Motley Croc Show. We're going to touch on a bunch of stuff today. My personal favorite, stupid people. I'm looking forward to that. I hope we don't offend anybody. Well, we might, but we'll definitely keep names out of things, at least some of them. And behind the scenes, as always, I have the infamous Jimmy Riffle. Glad to see him here. What's up, Jimmy? Welcome, Jared. You've had some problems. And then Brett, what's up, dude?
What's going on, guys?
All right, so just a shoot down for everybody paying attention. Brittany is on an airplane coming back from Hawaii, I believe. So she's up in the air. She's in the sky, Miles. And Jeff, he got roped into working. But he did say that he might pop in if he can. So that's kind of a good thing. We're going to check that out. And Jimmy's been catching up on all his stuff today, too. I noticed that he was doing the wells and stuff. So you've had your shit cut out for you, huh?
Yeah, I got that stuff. I got a couple more things I got to do tonight. I might be able to hang out for like 45 minutes tonight with you.
Great, man. You don't have to hang out, man. If you really got something to do, man, I totally
No, I'm good. I'm good. I want to get on. I want to do this with you, but I got to sneak away like after 45 minutes. Al, you drinking Ball?
Yes, I am.
Fuck. I don't have any more.
I need to get some more. You know, as a matter of fact, when you pick up your crocodiles, we'll get you some. We'll pick up some. They always got them by me.
Perfect.
I figured I'd do a little bit of it tonight while we were chatting. What happened with your, before we touch on some weenies, some stupid shit that goes on the planet. I mean, people, sometimes I just can't even believe. Sometimes I just don't even get it. But let's see if we got anybody in here right now. What's up, Michelle? How are you? What happened today with your loss of pressure? I mean, that's a big deal. Jimmy has a lot of animals, as we all know.
Yeah, so this happened when we were gone. Okay. My dad was messaging about water problems when we were in Mississippi. And he tapped on the pressure valve gauge thing, and it came back on. So I was like, oh, good, we're perfect, beat it and let it come on. So he did all that. It worked good. And then the house was getting pressure, but the animals wouldn't get pressure. It would hit 35 pounds and turn on, but just climb back down to zero. And this has been going on for the last 2 to 3 days since I've got home. I've been working on the well. And I had a guy come out. Hey, Heidi. I had a guy come out today, and he had to pull the entire pump out, replace lines in the ground. I didn't know all the shit that went into this. I didn't know the pump in a well is like 4 foot tall. This shit
down in the bottom underground. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like this big around, and so he put it in. But about $1,500 to $1,600 later, we're back up and running. But
good. Well, I'm sorry you had to spend that kind of money.
It sucked, but it is what it is.
What's up, Michael?
Said, hey, Michael. The animals are priority, so definitely.
Yeah, I have a good time. I mean, Jimmy helped me a lot this past week with losing weight, heat exhaustion.
Yeah.
So we ended up packing up and leaving, and it almost makes you delirious. I think when you spend too much time in the hot weather, like just too much time, like you start to get weird. I don't know if it's like where you kind of get high on the sun. I'm not real sure how that works, but it seems that way. But poor guy, the AC went out, and all he did was apologize. So we left Mississippi from Mississippi to Florida in 13,000 degrees. We drove back and praying for the rain. Please let it rain. Please let it rain.
You want to hear something?
You know what, bro? I was excited. I got a little slimmer.
You want to hear something fucked up? So later that night, I went outside to get a couple things out of the truck, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to just try it. I started the truck at about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Air came on, blowing as cold as fuck. I swear to God, I am not joking. I was going to text you and tell you. I was like, no, I think I'm going to hold off for a couple days.
Bro, I was like, I was so like, because, you get hot after a while and like, you're like, you start feeling weird. My legs were numb. I was like, oh, man, I feel really fucked up. When you get that hot, how you feel, the sun just kicked your ass.
I was sweating in the skin, like under my skin. It was so fucking hot.
I know. And when I was driving home, I'm like, man, I just feel like fucking, wow. Like it was like, I don't know, man. It was like, oh gosh, look who's here, dude.
Well, actually, we all thought about climbing into the hills. Remember, Troy, you wanted to climb in the animal trailer because that bitch was cold.
I would have laid back there with the gators, bro. Old Farmer Jimmy working on his well. What's up, Michael? I got it. Let's see. Daniel Schwarzfart. I like this. I see some grooming. And tighten that up right up for you.
I know.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I'm in a
looking
drastic-
pretty Duck Dynasty.
I need to shave. I haven't shaved.
No way. You're looking all Duck Dynasty. Let it go, man. Let that fly. Just let it flow like a river on a summer day, man. Let that fly, guy.
Fuck.
Let that fly. Yeah, that was crazy. And you know, you spend a lot of time doing things, and you know, the more I travel across America, the more I realize that people are just stupid, man. I just don't understand some of the things that you encounter in certain places with human beings. Anywhere from gas stations to, like, these people function. You know, they get behind like a car and they drive, dude. They drive. But I just can't imagine like when you talk to somebody and they just look at you, and you're talking to them, hello, and they're like, what is that? Like, what is that?
You ran into a few of those. We all did. Yeah. Dan,
yeah, you know, I'm not talking about just, you know, when we're working, because, you know, there's jackasses, big dummies, and 2-digit IQs everywhere you go. It's like you're walking around in this video game of Sims. You know what it's like? Like it's like Grand Theft Auto, but he's just kind of walking around. You walk into them, they bump into you. Hey, they don't do nothing. You know, you punch them, they like lay back. Hey, and you do it like 3 times, the cops come. But it's like that. But I mean, it's just some of the things, man. Like just the journey itself is fun. But people there's so much to it, man.
Have you seen the guy on TikTok that does the live Grand Theft Auto? He walks around and he does like the
walls.
Yeah, he does the walk.
Yes.
He glitches himself and like he does the turns.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff David is actually wrapped into doing some work. Hopefully right now he's listening with a smirk on his face and his ear while he's saving someone's life, pumping air into them.
Hey, David, how you doing, buddy?
But he's there. So he just said he might pop in if he can. He'd sneak off into the mop closet or something. Some shit like that. I got to get some supplies. Hey, guys, what's up? It's ground zero out here. You know, might run into something like that. But yeah, there's been a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of some catastrophes happen. We all know that there was a fire at one of the local zoological parks in Central Florida that they're very personal friends of ours, and you know they've been dealing with a lot. So you know, much energy goes out that way to them, and we'll be helping them get that back in order. It's probably somebody's worst nightmare, you know, like leaving and you know coming back and there's a fire and it's nothing you can do. It's just sometimes those things happen. There's just nothing you can do. It's just unforeseen acts of God, and I don't know why they call it that, but it's considered an act of God. So.
Yeah,
I don't know what kind of God want to burn a dude down.
So sad that happened.
You know, and you know, people are like, oh, you know, I saw a lot of stuff. Got me onto a lot of topics. You know, I saw a lot of things where like they, you know, I may have sent some stuff out to you. Some like did you see that? Somebody here really enjoyed it, but they were like in the church, and a girl said that the demon would come and bang her and fill her up, and she'd blah. And they'd pray for her, and the white sauce would shoot out, and she'd be anointed. Did you ever see that? Well, I sent it to you, Jimmy. It's in your thing, and I know Brett saw it. It was about that. That what were they doing? They were like exercising the pussy demons.
Is it Instagram?
Yeah, I'll resend it. Hold on 1 second here. I'll definitely send it back to you here. I got it right here. It's gonna go right down here to Jimmy. Bam! It's gonna come at you.
I got the one of the blind person. The guy from Friends.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Well, the one I just sent you, like, so I mean, like, I can give the audience a soundbite of it.
Let that sperm of that man out. The man came with his penis and put it in my mouth. And then he came again and he slept with me last week. And I told the pastor that I need deliverance again. And since then, my private part has been itching. It's been itching? Yes.
Okay. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Speak. Who are you? Okay. Who are you? Look at that demon. Look at that demon. Look at that demon. Demon in the private room.
Taking consideration that visual, this was taped live too. In their church.
He just threw some holy water on her vagina.
Come on, from the private. Come on, from the
She's
private.
dancing her ass off. So I just want you guys to hear the kind of stupidity that people buy into, man. this everything. How do you? I mean, so I don't even know what to say to that. Like, I'm lost now. It makes me want to drink.
Me too.
It's laughable at best. It
Okay.
really is.
Yeah, no.
So Tank said, "What sickness is this?" I mean, do you remember the guy that used to like Jimmy? I say the preacher that would he would heal with farts, and he would fart in their mouth. They like get down,
Yep.
open their mouth.
Yep.
This is a real thing, Brett.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm aware. I've seen them. I send a lot of those to you too.
That's what I'm saying. Well, what kind of? That's what I mean by stupid. Like, what kind of a window licker, bro? Would walk into a place and like, sign me up. Can the preacher fart in my mouth? I mean, that I'd like some of that. How is that? What's wrong with you, man? Like, what is wrong with you?
Well, you and I talked about that one preacher guy that he has the crazy eyes. They remember I showed it to you. They did an interview. He was like getting in his car, and he like told the reporter like he was oh my God, what's his fucking name? You mentioned his name to me when he's very popular.
Kenneth Copeland.
Kenneth Copeland.
That guy.
What a nut, huh?
Oh,
about Tyler Perry's plane he bought. Is that the one?
Yeah, that's the guy, I think.
Yeah.
Don't you talk about mom?
Yeah, that's him. Good God, that guy. I can't.
Yeah, right. But listen,
Right.
you're talking about like my personal opinion on him is I think that number one, he is not really crazy like you think. He plays that game, but he's made a lot of money off playing around like that.
Yeah.
A lot of money. He's smart. And that character is getting him a lot. He's got a legion that follows him. So, I mean, there's so much to it with all that stuff. Like it's all coming out. Like it goes through these cycles. Like I look at all the different cycles of idiocracy I see on the internet. You can get so stuck into that stupid shit sometimes. You got to put your phone down and punch yourself in the face. Like, what am I watching? You know, it goes from one to the next and it's all really crazy stuff. And everything lately that you see is just all it's all like selling you shit mentally. And I think I think it's making everybody dumb. Like it's melting our brains, literally.
Yeah,
it's melting our brains. So I get a lot of messages. I get. And some of them are genuine. I mean, some of them are genuine. You know how, Jimmy, you'll get like, you'll open up your page and it'll be like, oh, Jimmy, I watched you when I was young. I'm inspired now. I catch lizards now. I jump on the backs of lizards. I tie them up. I practice tape and I do it. I'm ready for the big leagues. And you're like, oh, cool. Or someone will come up and hug you. You changed my life. And they'll hug you or you hug one and they die. That kind of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't get that kind of shit. Like I get, hey, God loves you and stuff, and you need this or you need that and stuff. Like trying to save, and after you get so many followers, you're going to get, like Brett says, you're going to need more haters because all your haters have become your fans, and so like you get those kind of like I get a lot of texts, and I know some of them are genuine. I think some of them are just young kids, but. So I got a discussion with it and we were talking about it and I understand it. I mean, I know why they do it and it's cool, but come on, like people just need to stay in their lane. Like I'm not going to go into a place and do that, but I came up with something last night I'd like to do if you're interested in watching. I'd like to do the Great American Church Tour. And I want to sit up with every single pastor of every fucking church and I want to debate. Like to their whole congregation. That's what I want to do. I want to debate because I think it'd be a great show. I want to make it epic. I want to get it all filmed and release like a 6-part docu-reality on that. And I want to debate them.
You are the perfect man. You are the perfect man for that job. That's all I got to say.
I want to do it, and I think that it's a thing where I just want to debate, and because of my knowledge in that, don't be fooled. Brett knows what I'm talking about. He's got it too. He gets it. To begin to understand, and I don't want to use the term enemy, but to understand your enemy, you've got to know them fully, right? So there are good people out there, and every walk of religion, there are good people. It gets warped with this sense of doctorate in rules and regulations. I mean, would I be wrong? Would I be wrong in saying that?
No.
Right? There's a religion in everything you do. I mean, like Jimmy's religion is crocodilians, and I don't mean like he gets up every day on his towel and Shamana Hama Baba to it, but he cleans them, dude. He makes sure they're alive and he's there, but he's tending to his flock, bro. You know, he's biblical. He's Jesus to them, dude. You know what I'm saying? They see him come like, hey, you think Jesus has any rabbits today for food? I don't know. I don't see anything in his hands. You know, so he religiously gets up and does that. So, you know, it's always been a thing. Like, it has to come to me all the time, no matter where I'm at. They have to bring it to me. Now, I may be a magnet for it, or I may look a certain way, and they feel like impelled to have to, like, whatever they think. And so I've become really skilled at these arguments. And so, you know, when you study things of the brain, and you study facts, and you study religion and all that stuff, I just think it'd be a good thing to do. But once again, anybody who's reached out to me with genuine in their heart, I get it. I know what you feel like you have to do, but you don't. It's okay. Like, it's okay. So reach out to Jimmy and tell him that you're going to be the next crocodile hunter because of everything he did barefoot. You know what I'm saying?
I got some of those messages.
All right. And I just think, you know, I think people are generally good. And I say to them, look, I respect your story. I think the story of Christ was a story of love. I don't think Jesus as a person that existed, I don't think he was hating people and hating someone with tattoos or hating someone because they were gay or hating someone because they had pet snakes, or I don't think any of that was. I think that was all added in to make it all worse. So I say I agree with you. I think your story is good, and that teaching is a teaching of love, man. I get it. And the devil, he was the messenger of reason. You know, he was the reasoning source, and I think that's all that story was. And you know, they don't want you to know reason. You know, they don't want you to know that stuff. So I don't know who was leading the blind on that one. But anyways, so I'm saying if you're watching, and the people that watch that send me those, I understand where you're coming from, but it's okay. You don't have to worry about it. God's giving you the day off when you see me. It's okay. Right? Let's talk about, you know, but, you know, then you get on the fact of stupid people. And then I get ones that argue with me and they think they know everything, dude. And they're like, you know, 22. You know, and they're telling me that how this is going to end, and you're in the end times. I could write a book on these little messages from these random people. You know, Christ-like 2022, and you know, at Spirit of Light, or at the Trinity of Power, at God's Soldier number 22, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, God, they're like coming at me left and right. I'm just going to start sending to Jimmy. I'm like, look, I got saved last week. I've been working on Jimmy. Can you forward this to my friend? Can you send it over?
I won't. I'll just delete the motherfucker.
I know you will, but you know, it's just funny because it's like, you know, it's just, I don't know. It's humorous because, you know, we grew up in that shit, Brett, so we get it.
Hey, a little off topic.
Shoot.
Bro, I just started watching that chimp thing, that Chimp Rising, whatever that shit. Oh,
Rise of the Warrior Ape. Told you.
Holy shit balls.
Tell me that's not the story of what human beings really are.
Bro. Unbelievable. I didn't finish it. I fell asleep, but I
recommend.
Oh, I'm going to, but oh my God. Bro, when they catch those little fucking monkeys.
I know. And then they have dinner. It was like you, me, and Lewis having crab legs, dude. Remember? That's what it was like.
Bro, they hand it off to them and shit. I'm like,
yep, like, oh, here, Jimmy. Here's a piece for you. And Jimmy's like, oh.
I know.
And they all sit around and look at the camera crew. I'm like, this is amazing to me.
Bro, they're like, just give you the stink eye. Then when the
main character,
they mauled that one and like it ended up dying, but fuck.
Yeah, he did something to the team, man. He became a weak link, and they weren't doing it, folks. They weren't doing it because they were teaching him a lesson. He may have died from his punishment, but he was a weak link, and he was doing things against the survival of the troop. He was being emotional, and that he wasn't thinking logically and strong. He was thinking emotional. And they if you remember, Jimmy, they took care of that. Like, that's a weak link. We're not having that.
Did. And then that one chimp was like, it's enough. And scared the other chimps away and kind of sat with them for a minute. And then that one that got injured walked away and they never saw him again. The
wise one.
What's that?
The older wise chimp.
Yes. It was the one that stopped it all.
He stopped everybody. Said he's had enough.
Yep.
And I know you guys are like thinking like, wow, what is that? But this really happened. This is animals, and they have their faith system, and they believe. The one thing that I respect about them that I think people have lost is that, you know, we've got this selfish society. You know, oh, you know, I saw this happen. I got to take off work for a week because I witnessed a car accident. And you're like a little bitch. Like, that's just, get the fuck up and go on. It didn't happen to you. Move on. It's not your blood. You no responsibility to it, but you make a victim. And I think what they were doing is they were saying that you are not as big as a survival of who we are. You know, you're not as big as who we are. They're the survival and the views and their culture as those primates is bigger than one primate. So they taught him a lesson. And I mean, when I saw that, bro, I got chills because, you know, for so long, you're brainwashed to think that, you know, animals are dumb and they do what they're told and people are greater than this and that, but they're not. They adapt well to human lifestyle. They have their own, they're in the jungle out there, man. You know, if they had an opportunity to not be in the jungle and have to suffer and do that kind of stuff, my God, they'd probably be like with us. So when you watch that animal and they're doing the same thing like people would do with that intelligence level, like teaching a lesson, not just, oh, he's pissing me off, I want to fight him, I'm sexually charged. No, they were teaching him a lesson.
Yeah.
And then the one wise one was like, that's enough. I mean, it was almost like Gandalf, that's enough.
Yeah.
You know, and they're chimps.
And the other chimps, listen, they all backed off, and none of them else went after him after that. Nothing. It was crazy.
No, because he was the leader, man. He was the leader. And you find that it started out with so many and it ended with a ton. Like they moved, bro, from what I mean, you guys understand it was 22 years of filming that. 22 years.
Now, was it the only was it only the one episode?
Yeah, it went all the way through. It was like a whole series.
Season one, episode one. It was like an hour and a half or something like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And I think there's another one either coming out or did. So it's like really, you know. So I don't know, man. It's just.
It was crazy.
It's worth seeing because I mean, it really gives you an example. You know?
Well, you know, and we're talking about like that part, but they should, you know, there's a lot in it that, like you said, there's a pecking order, there's structure, there's so much to those families and those. I mean, what do you call a group of chimps? I mean, a troop. I mean, it's just like when they were all following each other, like to go fight the other group and shit like that. I mean, God, it's like you said, it's basically like people. It really is. It was I watched it on Amazon Prime, David. It does cost. It's like $3 to watch it on Prime.
No, you got that, David. Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely worth it's worth seeing. Like, there's just so much, you know, to be taught about who we are and how we should be, you know.
And you know what I really enjoyed, you know, when they interview like the cameraman and stuff, when they were talking about that scene of like them jumping that one chimp and they were all getting choked up. And, you know, they're like, we've been filming these these chimps for over 20 years. And they watched that chimp get his body torn apart and gushing blood. And they got choked up. They were not, I think they said they radioed that they're killing, forget his name. And I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy.
I know, it makes you think.
Fuck yeah.
There was no CGI, no made up stuff. I mean, this was real deal. I think that's probably one of the most epic journeys into that type of thing and that I've seen in a long time. You know, like Jane Goodall did some wonderful work too, and there's some great footage with her working with gorillas and things, and she's very big into primatology. But I think that was one of the best. I mean, I recommend that, guys, for you to definitely check that out because, I mean, chimps are something else, dude. I mean, they're something else, but they just, you know, we got all this bullshit, bro. They don't think about, man. Like they're not like, oh, I wonder what that idiot Biden's doing right now. Is he like nibbling on little kids' arms or what's he? They don't give a fuck about none of that.
No.
They got their own thing going on. We got all these big things of spaceships and UFOs and Sasquatch and deadly viruses and politics and people dropping bombs on each other for deities. And they're out there just trying to live, man. Just trying to keep their species alive. Their focus is to keep their species alive, as our focus is to destroy everything we can possible. And, you know, and kill each other. It's like, you know, they don't live like that. So we're obviously not that part of the primate, you know. But can you imagine if there were like wimpy primates? How long do you think they would last? No. You know, it's not like people. You know, I've had discussions. They're like, "Oh, that's a conditioning. The way you're raised, it's a conditioning." It's not. That's not a conditioning. That's a straight up. It's in them, and they know what to do. You know, people are a little different. We're a lot more emotional thinking. We do a lot of things. I think we keep a lot of people alive that we shouldn't keep alive, for sure, for sure. And you know, and it causes weakness in a lot of things. I mean, we just watched a thing on the, you know, in Europe where, you know, they were the wealthiest families in the world at this time. Brett, you'll remember what I'm talking about. They just were incestual because they didn't want their money getting into the general public. Mm-hmm. So, like, you know, they were marrying their sisters and banging their sisters and stuff, and then their kids, and then now they're still paying the price on that. You know, like some people's like penis is growing out of their neck, and there's an eyeball in the middle, and I mean, there's all kinds of shit, you know, from doing that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, I mean, that's real. Or like they got long faces and they can't read. You know what I mean? They're like big long gums and shit. I mean, I was looking at those pictures. You know.
Yeah, I do though. Yeah.
They don't know any better, but they're really like, they're fucked up, dude. They're like potato heads, dude. Like literal potato heads, dude. Literally. And what are they going to do when they don't know how to spend that money? Now, that's not their fault that they were born like that, but they're like a legit. I'm serious, Jimmy. If you see it, they're like potato heads, dude. Like, looks like someone took a person. You know what they look like? Do you remember that movie Mask with Cher?
I never saw it.
Brett.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Remember that guy? That's how they all look.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah,
I think we could learn a lot more from animals. I guess the moral of the story.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, with the animal, I also watched that show. It was interesting how you guys brought it up, and it was a really good show. But isn't it funny if you really break everything down and quit thinking that you're like the apex predator of this planet, because you're not. You go in the ocean, you're not the top of the food chain anymore. You go in certain parts of the jungle, you are not part of the food chain anymore. You're not at the top anymore. But what do animals fight over the most, man? They fight over women. They fight over food, territory, everything.
Yep.
Same as us.
Yep.
You know, I mean, if you think about it, and how you were saying, as they're born with it, it's in their genes, it's in their soul. You can put a brand new born baby boy in a puddle of water in the rain, it's just going to sit there and make gurgling sounds. But a duck or a horse will stand up and walk away and seek shelter. I mean, it's very, very interesting to watch. So these people that say, "Oh, you know, the chimpanzee is the closest thing to human beings, and we share so much." Yeah, we do. But when you look at the DNA strands and the base pairs and everything, we're so far apart. They'll say a number that says they're the closest, but if you look at those pairs with DNA structure, it's miles and miles and miles and miles. But it was cool to watch, though, because not only did I felt when I watched it that they were teaching him a lesson, but they were also showing the pack of what not to do. They're like, they made an example out of him.
100%. That's what I mean. Yep.
So they had their judge, jury, and executioner right there. And I wonder how long it took them after 20 years or whatever filming this to not see that. You know what I mean? Because like you said, it was an emotional thing. Would that have happened if they didn't have a film crew out there filming them for 20 years, dude, and seeing what humans do emotionally with each other and how we speak to each other and how we give certain, you know, gestures towards each other? I mean, they're watching them too. Yep. You got to see it. I thought it was really good. It was interesting. It was a great show. I recommend it as well. It was a good watch.
And then what I think about it most is, I mean, they're still out there, man. That colony that was built.
Yeah.
Those warriors that were the rise, those warrior apes, those rise of the warrior, they're still out there now, man.
Yeah.
Right now, fucking sitting there teaching. And I think that there's a lot of power in that, man. There's a lot of power in that. And you just, and I know from primates, working with some primates, and I'm not a fan of all primates. I can't, there's some I won't even get with. There's guys that work with us, like Justin and all, and those guys real good, like macaques, and they're awesome with them, not me, but I will tell you this. I know there's a lot of them. When they have a baby that's born looking like, you know, stepped on bubble gum, they don't keep that thing alive, man. I mean, I know people are going to be like, Troy, you're so fucked up, but I'm not. I mean, you know, they give birth to something that looks like chewed bubble gum with an eyeball glued on it. They get rid of it. They don't dress it up and then, you know, make Instagram videos about it. They don't do that. And so there's not as many around. I mean, I know you guys are. I mean, seriously, man. Like, I'm trying to put it. I mean, I'm not. I know sometimes I'm not politically correct or all there, but I'm just stating a fact that they preserve themselves, and I watch it happen. I've got a twin to one of my lemurs, and I saw when they were born, and one was just not well. One of the twins was not well, and that little thing tried to climb up on its mother, and she just threw it on the floor. She just grabbed it off of her and threw it on the floor just to take care of the other one because it just wasn't. She knew that was something's wrong with it, and she turned off. And that's something that's where humans can't do that, man. You know?
It's interesting though too. If you look at like the primal instincts of human beings, I believe honestly. I mean, herbivores have eyes on the side of their heads, right?
Yes, sir.
Right?
I love it, bro. I'm reading Dan's comment. I can't.
But see, Daniel is not. Daniel would never have made. He would have been the one that they jumped in the woods.
Yeah. Yes.
He would have been the monkey. They'd be like radioing in. They're like, "Hey, base. They're beating Daniel to death in the woods. What do we do? Sit back and watch." And then
You ever heard a story about these women that have
he
like
doesn't know what he's doing. But go
that
ahead.
woman?
Sorry, Brett. Go ahead, buddy.
No, you're fine. That woman that said, I think I think we're not too far off from animals. Like I think predators have eyes in the front of their faces, right?
Correct.
Herbivores have them on the side of their heads, right?
For the most part. I mean,
We have them in the front of our heads. We don't have the canines. We don't have all the other shit. But I mean, like you were saying with the structure of like, I mean, back in the Spartans, if you look at history, if there was any problem with those babies, they discarded them, right? I'm not just quoting 300. I'm just saying that that's the way it was. I mean, what, 40 years, 50, 60 years ago, if there was a crazy guy out front yelling to himself, dude, in about 5-10 minutes, they'd send a truck over to pick him up in a straitjacket and throw him in some hospital. That's the way it was. But at a genetic level, I thought what you said was interesting. It struck a thing with me. I read this story about this lady that had twins, and one of the twins was less healthy than the other one, and the other one was consuming the other baby to make him stronger before the birth was even happening. Wow. It was taking nutrients from the other.
You know, there's a lot of times,
right?
That, you know, that's a true story, Brett, because there's a lot of times that when there are twins and the other one will consume the twin.
Yeah. So is that taught or is that experience, or is it just in our genetic code?
No, I think it's survival of life. I think
it's survival of the fittest. It's survival.
We interfere. It's us that interfere with things. We interfere with things. That's what we do.
Oh, we do all the time. Even when we shouldn't interfere with shit, we still do. So
yeah, and I think that's a big thing, especially with people, and they do the same things, Jimmy. Like I've never. I'm not going to sit here and say anything against anybody that's done that, but I think that that's a thing that a lot of people do. And, one of the things that we don't take into consideration is that, I understand that there's people that are just not all there or they're a little mentally challenged and they need a little help in life, but they're functioning. I've seen that. But then there's some like, what are you going to do when you get old, right? What's the light? Now, what is this human being that's smashed up and it's like got tubes stuck everywhere out of it? What is it going to do? So let's just say, and I say it because it could be boy or girl, but what if or a bag of Skittles, I don't know, whatever anybody is these days, I never know. But if you just think about that, what if that person is completely conscious like us, like we are right now, and it's just in like this little wrinkled up sandwich bag of meat, right? And now you're gone, and now it's just slid into a tray, and they've rolled it into a room with a white light, and they come in there and they feed its bag and they wipe its boo-boo hole. And I mean, what the fuck? Are you thinking about what you're doing? And don't tell me you don't know this before it happens. So my question is, and to the people out there who hate me for this, where is the dilemma or what is your dilemma of moral? What is right and wrong on that one? Is it right to drag it through that whole life? Like, oh my God, he can never go to the roller skating rink. He never gets to cop a feel, or, like Daniel, have a girl breathe on his neck and to run around with an erection all day. He's just stuck. And those are important things, about life, just feeling, touching, falling in love, having a crush, trying new foods, going out with your friends, laughing, smoking some weed. They don't get to do any of that. And so what are you doing? And if they're not, then I don't know.
No, I understand where you're coming from.
If I can still talk shit, I'll stay a blob. Give me a keyboard and keep your hands off my plug. Listen, Ashley. Let's not get Ashley started on that. But no, I think that Ash would be the first one to throw it in the gas chamber. I think if Ashley gave birth to some chewed up bubble gum, she would get rid of it. I don't care what you said. She say, let's try again. Put that one in there. And I'm not saying anything bad because that's what it is. It could happen to any one of us, man. So I don't really care. It could happen to anybody. We're talking, and that's it. Oh my God, this is getting aggressive. Getting aggressive here. But no, maybe you wouldn't. I mean, maybe some of these people make sacrifices. They will do stuff like that. So I don't know. But I mean, for me, it'd be a hard situation to deal with. You know, it'd be hard.
I mean, I agree with you to a point. I mean, it's like, and I think about myself, and it's like, what if I got in a car accident, and it's like, I was paralyzed from the neck down,
I would change your diapers, Jimmy, because I love you.
I appreciate that. But I'm saying though, in the
I'd
sense
hose you off outside.
I mean, you guys ride bikes, you guys, you
could happen to us. Yep.
But what if you were paralyzed from the waist down or neck down? You couldn't enjoy life. You couldn't do anything. You're going to wipe your ass. You couldn't eat. Couldn't do it. Would you want to be alive? I mean, in all reality, and I know they're like, oh, well, you can still talk, but I mean, but you can't do nothing else. It's like,
right. And and there's two things. I have come across people who are like, there's some people that can walk around and fully function and still don't want to be alive. So there are things like that happen. And they say that. I think the people that really mean that, they don't talk about it, Brett. They're just gone. We've all had friends that did it. I've had friends that have killed themselves. You never even knew. You didn't even talk about it, man. It's just they didn't even have any problems in their life.
Yeah.
Just one day they were like, boom, we found him. He shot himself. You're like, whoa, what the fuck? There's Hugo, and he said Stephen Hawking. Yep, Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
Yep. He was coherent, but he wasn't born like that. That came later in his life. He was actually completely normal when he was born. That did not take over until for those of you that don't know, I'm not saying Hugo doesn't, but for those who don't know, that came later on in life. That was a much later thing that happened to him. I'm talking about when you I mean, and he went into that. He might have been. Well, would you already have a taste of life? But if you don't have a taste of life, what are you doing, man?
Well, what is that actor that has the Parkinson's real bad?
Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox. Like, he's an example. He does very well still. He still gets around. But look what he was to now, and it's like, it's sad that somebody at that caliber, he was in his prime, and then that he now has to function like that. Which I'm not saying that he can't, because he does, but he can't do what he loves, though. He can't act no more. He can't do any of that, so he kind of got to just ride the train now. And when it's time, when it's his time.
And I heard him talk about that. I might have been with you, Jimmy. We were watching something, I thought.
Yeah, you and I watched something with him. Yeah.
He was just talking about it. He's like, I'm already on this, man. I got to ride it out. I mean, that's the way he feels. But he had a great career. He did really well. And, that was his thing. And I'm just talking about when you have something, and I've seen it. You guys know what I'm talking about. But sad for you to see, but his whole perspective might change as he shifts gears in his life. Yep, that's true. She's right there. Your perspective could change.
But he has no choice but to change and shift gears in his life at that point.
That's right.
Or maybe not him specifically, but if somebody.
All right, well, here's an example. Parkinson's. I mean, they found that Robin Williams had that. And before it got that bad, some of his diseases, he took care of it, man. He did not want to be that burden on his family. Very talented, very amazing person. He just didn't want to do the same things that Michael J. Fox was doing. So, I mean, I understand that too. And everybody's like, oh, you shouldn't do that. But that was his right to do that, man.
True. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So there's another example of somebody different, And as you said, your brain is resilient. It is. Not everybody's brain. There's some dummies out there, man. Dummies. You know what I mean? Like, just dummies. And so, and they're normal and they can actually function. But I just,
But it's okay. So let's look this out. The brain is resilient. So like my dad's mom, she had a stroke, and my grandmother Audrey, Alice, she had a stroke, and she became, from what she became a vegetable. She couldn't talk. She couldn't do anything, but she was still coherent to what her eyes would move. She would nod, but she couldn't talk. She couldn't do anything. But it's like at that point, what do you do at that point? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what? She couldn't tell us if she wanted to be here anymore. She couldn't do that. She literally was just there, and she ended up passing away from the stroke. But, it's like, I don't know. I guess I don't know where I'm going with that, but
Just make sure you got to impress this person's husband, whoever it is. Beginner's guide. Hey guys, now's your chance. Everybody's quiet.
I was reading. It's hard as the functioning person to have to guess.
I get that, Jimmy. You're only nice to Jimmy because you like him. Whatever. You know, that's some bullshit right there. But what's up, Beginner's Guide? How are you? Yeah. So to you know, there's just so many things that are just ridiculous to me. And the more you look into it, like everything is such a cloak and dagger anymore. I don't, you know.
I can't.
That's why I like her on here, man. She's a riot. I think that there's so much to it, and let's take for example, Brett lives in Colorado, right? I can look at Brett and be like, hey, let's go out to the dispensary, grab some weed, come home and enjoy ourselves tonight, laugh around the fire, right? In Florida, you have to like be sick and you got to get this card, and you got to do that. But it's okay to go down to Walmart liquor store, buy a cheap bottle of fucking vodka, and then go and play punching games on your kids and your wife, dude. Where's that at? You know what I'm saying? Where's the seriousness in that? You know, or companies that judge you for, you know, smoking weed or using a you know, an ointment on your leg because you got something in your blood, or putting you out, and you're put out you're an idiot. You're gonna have to go get counseling or something now because you know you did. It doesn't make any sense with the way the world works. It's so stupid these days, you know. And then everybody wants this, and they're wiping out our population, or oh my God, they're making abortion illegal, you know. So they want to kill everybody, and then they want to save the babies. I don't know. There's so much mixed information going around, and everything's so fucked up. What happened to just normal life?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that every generation probably said the same thing, right? Like I know my parents probably looked at me and Brett, and Brett's parents at him, and wow, it was easier back then, you know, so much easier, and it goes on, you know. So the easier, I guess what I'm saying is the easier things get for us, the harder it gets too. I mean, you know, you sacrifice one thing for you know, if you want mental safety, then you sacrifice physical safety. If you want physical safety, sometimes you sacrifice mental safety. You know, what are you being shown on TV? Don't leave your house, order everything on Amazon, you know. Get rid of like going into the movie Blockbuster and renting a movie with your family because you just click a button now and you don't have to move, and you can just shove food and process food in your body and click another one and do some more and click. It's like this. I used to like to go out and get dirty and eat dirt and shit like that and hide Playboy magazines and makeshift fucking PVC pipes. So you go sit with your friends and trade them for food and money. Hey man, I got the next edition. And you got your little, you know, now it's like, you know, you can just go on the computer and do whatever you want. Hey, I want to look at a, you know, somebody shoving a bird in their ass while sucking off a gerbil, and a kid can watch that. I mean, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the accessibility of stuff now is so easy to people that it's dangerous. It would be dangerous.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
So.
Sorry, my dad just walked in. So
that's okay. The way you froze is like he came in his underwear or something. You're like,
no, I didn't know who it was. I was like, who the fuck is that?
Comes in there, some guy stands behind you in his underwear. What are you doing?
I literally
Careful,
was
George.
like,
there he is. There's the man of the hour right there. That's the golden child. Watch out. But yeah, I mean, so there's so much to that. I think everything just gets crazy. David said you can get a check for alcoholism that's seen as a disease. I mean, what, you know?
That's crazy.
Beginner's Guide. We're looking to move
overseas
in 2 years.
People really have that problem. So
David said gerbil jam, and that's I need to make a T-shirt out of that, David, in honor of you, gerbil jamming.
I can't.
That was a thing. I remember when I was a kid. Remember they started talking about that, Brett?
Richard Gere.
Yeah, but remember that people were going to pet stores supposedly and buying gerbils and shoving them up their ass and running around in their intestines. I mean, that might be kind of fun until they start chewing around in there, man, like chewing it up. You know, they'll be on the sides like gnawing on it. Who would want that? You know,
to show you, we were talking about that earlier today about, you know, 50% of the people you know are what? You know what I mean?
So
hey, you look at that. I mean, you got to think about the conversations people had to them. Hey, you know what? If you take a gerbil, you
50%.
fucking shave them, dude. Wait a couple days so they get a little stubbly, dude, like a buzz cut, and just And it's all fucking gravy after that. And people are like, oh, really? And they do it. It's beyond me.
So
It's beyond me. It's just fucked up.
So 50% of the people you know are below average. It's sad. I see them a lot, dude. The kind of people that you want to get mad at people like dummies, right? Like, say you go somewhere, you're like, no one. I hate to say Walmart because Walmart is like the epitome of. Hold on, man. Like people in prison, they kick people out of prison. They send to Walmart, man. That's what they do. Like, oh, he's too ridiculous to be in prison, but just put that bitch out. Shop at Walmart at 11 at night, Or you go up to one of the clerks and you try to talk to them, dude. They smell like they haven't wiped in a week, and then you ask them something like, "Hey, I know you're stocking the cheese here, but do you guys know if you where you would put this butter?" I don't know. I just work with cheese. Come on, dude. Like where did the so like let's just take that for instance. Let's put that into the medical field, right, Jimmy? We're hurt now. We got hurt. Something went down with one of the alligators. We go in there and we're like, hey, we need some help. We need someone to give us a tourniquet. And the nurse goes, well, I don't do that. I just check your blood temperature.
Well, it's like that now. It has been for a long time.
No, dude. Like everybody does it. You're there. Like there's things that if I don't know, like if I'm doing something I present or my product that I sell, which is myself or my animal education or what I would do for a living, and a lot of people they don't know, whatever. I still say, look, I'm not like, I don't know. I don't like gerbils. I don't do that. I would like, look, I'm not too familiar with them, but here, contact this person here and we'll get you going and I'll make sure that you're good before you go. You understand? Yeah. What happened to that? What happened just to common courtesy to help somebody? Where are they getting these people? Oh, it's real hard to get someone to work. So we take the fucking guys we find under cardboard boxes at the bridge that haven't wiped and still got that dirt ring around the top of their hand for masturbating with a dirty hand all night, touching your fucking groceries. Where do they get them? Why is that okay? Why is that okay? When are we going to start making more people accountable for what they do? I know that there's certain people in here that work for corporate companies or the county that are even on here talking, and they couldn't get away with acting like that. Can you imagine going up like, excuse me, do you know where the lions are? No, fucker. I work with crocodiles. I don't know fucking lions are. Fuck those lions. I need to take my 15-minute smoke break, pick my ass, and play on my Facebook and show how cool I am and do duck lips holding a fucking. I mean, you get these idiots all the time, and that's a lot of people coming to the animal industry. That's why you got to be careful with that. True, Jimmy, or not?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Selfie fuckers. You get selfie people, or you get those little cocksucker animal rights. I'm going to come in and infiltrate you and take pictures of and smear poop on your bird cage and take a picture and go, look how they're keeping these animals in this thing, or And we get those people, and I swear to God, I've told them 1,000 times. Dan is on here, and he works for me, and he knows. If I get a group of people I'll know, I go, listen, you'll all be hired in here. But if I find out one of you are from HSUS or you're sneaking around here under PETA, I'm going to beat you so fucking bad before you get to that gate. I don't even care if the cops come. It's funny. A couple of people won't show up the next day. Because that's where it's at. You want that to stop? You got to stop with that pussy attitude. Like, well, if we catch them, we're going to file this. And we're going to fuck that. Whip the shit out of them and get them out of there. Because they do bad things, dude. They do bad things. And then animals suffer, and people take animals and they put them with other idiots and they take them away from their loved ones. It's wrong. It's just a bunch of shit. And that's what I mean by stupid people. And instead of doing stuff, we kiss ass. Oh, I'm sorry, a mosquito bit you? Yeah, we'll pay $5,000 lawsuit because you couldn't shit that night because you were so traumatized. You were bit by a mosquito. Yeah, we'll cover everything. It's okay. Oh, a snake bit you? Oh, it's a corn snake? Oh, my God, we better call the paramedics. Lay him down. Put his hand above his head. Tie a tourniquet on it. Who the fuck ties a tourniquet on a fucking corn snake bite and then calls
them motherfuckers? That's who did it. Those.
Oh yeah.
That just.
It's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. Like you know what you were doing when you did it.
Yep.
Oh, you want to hold the alligator? Will it scratch? Well, today's not the day to break your fear. Okay, take a fucking class before you come up and see us. Yep. You know how many times I want to take that alligator and smack him in the face with it? A lot. Take a big alligator tail and go, excuse me, bam! The alligator's like, what happened?
Yep.
Kid's dead. He don't know what happened. His whole head's out the side. I go, don't touch him like that. What are you doing?
That's it.
What are you doing? So,
all right, John, man, I got to roll. Hey, guys,
care, Jimmy.
I'll catch y'all. Brian, it's great seeing you, buddy. Troy, I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay? Jimmy.
You bet, bud. You bet.
Right.
See you,
Bye,
Jimmy.
guys. See you. Have a great night. Bye, everybody.
Yep. See you. So that's why they get free vacations, and they do. And you know what? They sue people in the medical field now, Brett. It's just not right anymore. We let way too much go on out there, man, that we shouldn't let go on. And we can't do anything about it. We're on the what is it? The SOP, the standard operating procedure that somebody else made. We have to follow, or what? We're dicks and we go to jail. If there's anybody on here who works for animals hasn't want to knock someone the fuck out when they come up to them. You know, when they say no such thing as a dumb question, I fucking disagree.
I do too.
I disagree.
No, it's like that. People are, it's easy to be a piece of shit nowadays. It's legal.
Of course.
You know, you can do whatever you want. You can be a career, you can be a litigious person on everything. On everything. Get away with it.
People who take advantage of people that aren't there yet. You know, I see a lot of that too. I see a lot of older people take advantage of shit that I'm like, man, if I was in that situation, I would have railroaded you and your entire company. How dare you? But you see a young person, they get scared, they get, they corner them, they threaten them with the police, they do this and that, or certain situations recently where someone tried to, help something and the other person tries to take advantage of that situation and make it seem like a big thing, so he has an excuse to be a dick. And I'm sorry, man. There's just a lot of things in this world, dude, that just go undone. But you know what? You can sleep well for a few nights, but you're going to do it to the wrong person, dude. You're going to do it to the wrong person. And then it's going to come back on you. So, you may get away with it for a little while being a douche, man, but it's not going to happen forever. It's just not. Yep, absolutely. Yep, that's pretty true right there. That's a true statement. 100%. Beginner's guy, totally agree with that. And it's funny to me because Brett, there was a time I was down, man. We've all been down. We've all had hard times and we get kicked. And sometimes, mental weakness can become physical weakness and it can make you tired. But you got to stand the fuck up, man. You got to stand the fuck up and not give any type of control to the world like that to you. You got to do that, And I've been there.
That's what we're talking about. I think people are raising their kids to be victims, man. They're not raising them to be 100%. Dangerous individuals that can, that'll do shit about anything. It's just like, oh, it's easy to be a victim.
Yeah, and you know what, man? There
was be a professional victim.
Exactly, and it doesn't matter, folks. It doesn't matter if you're a peacock or you're a whatever the fuck you are, or if you're a girl or a boy or whatever. You just need to be a productive part of society, not a hindrance to it, right? I try to be productive. I do the best I can to give my animals a life, and I try to reach out to the young people, and I'm not a big fan of kids. They annoy the shit out of me, but I suck it up because they are going to be the future, right? I don't want to break the contact with. Well, I want them to understand animals are not just something you eat and kick around and have around when you want and abuse it when you don't. It's a living entity that deserves to be here just like everyone else. We all have a purpose and we all come to our time, right? So you still have to be that way. And this whole, don't be a victim, man. Don't give anybody power over you, and that's anybody. You no matter how hard it seems, you got your people. They will lift you up. Listen to the words of wisdom that people have for you. Listen to it. Listen to people that have been there before. Or your parents, your grandparents, your friends, your family. Somebody's older, like, look, I've been there. It's cool. I understand. I'm here if you need me. But don't constantly give into it all the time, man. It's like the little boy who cried wolf one time. The wolf's going to eat you, man. You've been given the help, man, but you abuse it, the wolf's going to eat you. And you just got to remember that. Look, none of us are perfect. We all got things we need to work on. But, man, if we get out of that mentality like they're after me and you got to get yours, get on that mind like I'm getting mine. You're not going to give it to me. Right? Who's going to give you anything? You can go up like, look, I'm having a hard time today. I need it. Nobody really cares. You can go bum on the side of the street and collect a few dollars. But, if you really want to be successful, you got to get it. No one's giving you nothing. And you got to respect the people above you. Don't be one of those people that go up and to someone that's more successful than you and nag on them and try to borrow money and all that. Just don't fucking do that, man. Ask them to say, what's the formula? Give me a formula that helped you where you are. What points did you take to put you in the position you're in? And you'll find out a lot of them were flat on their fucking face, just like we've been a few times.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it earlier, Brett. We talked about someone telling you where you got to be, how many hours you got to be there, when you get to take your cigarette break. which is dumb. You shouldn't be doing that, Brett, anyways. If you're smoking, knock it off. But if we're to take your breaks out for eat your snacks or whatever, I don't want anybody telling me what to do. I don't want that. I want to do what I want to do. And I've taken turns in my life, man. I've eaten dirt. And thank God I've had friends like you and friends in my life. Like just there's a lot of people here, my family, that have been there to support me during those times where I crashed. But they believed in me enough to help me get through that crash. And there's a few people in my life now that I believe in and I'll continue to push for. And sometimes you get frustrated, man, because you see what their struggles are and they don't see the end, but you do. And you try to tell them, but they're in it, man. You know, that fire's on them, dude. Their ass is burning. That fire is burning them. And you're like, it's not burning you. It's not burning you. But in their mind, it's burning them. So the best you can do is just be there, but get them to understand where they are and how important they are as a person. And it's okay. It's okay, man. You shut that out and move on. The worst that can happen to you is you'll fucking die, and you're going to die anyways. So it's better to die trying, dude, than to give in. That's just how I look at it. Don't die on your knees, man. Don't die on your knees.
Well, it's a decision, man. You got to have that. We were talking about that burning desire.
Yep.
You're going to see me on top of the mountain or dead on the side. I'm not going back to where I was. And
Nope.
you got to live it. You got to commit.
Yep.
You got to breathe that shit.
I understand.
You don't, then you've got to take steps to get there. So no, that's definitely. I mean, we've all been in those situations where, God, I used to fucking hate corporate America, making people millions and millions of dollars, and they're just like, here's a little crumbs for you. Here you go. Good job. Pat you on the head.
Yep.
Give you a little 50-cent cola raise for the year, and then 2 months later call you in the fucking break rooms and say, oh, hey, insurance is going up. Only $1. It's only $1. Then you do the math and you're like,
got to make money and cut you off completely.
you're doing the math and it's like, well, I'm losing money working here every year. I'm losing it.
Yeah, but nobody looks at that. No, we look at it because we get what's called survival mode. We get this
survival mode. Yep.
Sometimes, bro, I eat fucking shit and I get stressed. I'm like, oh, fuck. But then they go, I know this is going to sound bad, but I mean, sometimes I sit back and go, you know what? I'm just going to light a bowl and I'm going to let my Cappy Bear sit on my lap for a little bit and I'm going to talk to him. So I'm okay, man. I get to do things because I put myself in those situations and I got to collect my thoughts. I got to go, no, this is not bad. I can get up. I'm still alive. I don't have a terminal disease. I'm not paralyzed. I'm not mentally challenged. I can do this. Why am I allowing something in my way? Nothing's in my way right now. Nothing. And everybody goes, well, you know, you got to have these feelings. And no, you don't got to have no fucking feelings, man. You do not. Okay. There's no feelings about survival. Like, I don't care about some of the people in my life that I have cut out of my life. I don't care because they didn't want to come on my journey, Brett, right? They didn't want to come on my journey. And what I mean by that is they got in my way, right? They were a negative vibe in my way. They were a constant victim. They're a crybaby. They're fucking always whining about how bad their life is. And I'm like, I can't do that anymore. You know, And you said it, Brett. You said it when you saw it, man. Show me your friends and I'll show you your life. And you know what? That is so fucking true. It isn't that I don't love some of my people I grew up with or some of the people I've been around or so. It's not that I don't love them, but I can't waste my energy anymore, you know? And there was a time that I did. And you know how many times Flavio would scream at me? And that's my boy, man. He would tell me. There's one thing I can always tell you or anybody on here about Flavio is that fucking dude will tell you straight up and he will take it just as much as he'll dish it. He said, we're supposed to. And if you don't, he's like, well, you didn't fucking tell me, man. That's your job to tell me that I fucked up. That's your fucking job. And I follow that. I believe that. You know, and he's pushed me a lot. You're wasting your fucking time. Stop wasting your fucking time. Stop wasting your fucking time on that. Stop. And you're like, no, I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to be there. He's like, no, you're not being there anymore. Now you're just enabling.
Yep.
You got to understand the realization of that. Sometimes I go, okay, I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm done. But don't feel bad about that stuff. Don't be bad, you know. I'll take my husband's Charlie for another 20 years. I'm going through some serious shit. Now my family, my friends have turned on the back. Now listen, I've been, for those of you that don't know, I do. Me and David talk quite a bit. He's a good guy and he's got his problems, but you know what I respect about him? He faces them, dude. He fucking gets up and faces them. He's here. He's right fucking here. And that right there is more than anybody else is doing. No matter what the bullshit is, he's here. And that's why we said when we started the Croc show, it was about, you know, letting people know what was going on in the world of the animals. And then it morphed into like a session where people could just come and let it out, man. And that's really what it is. It's It's once a week where you can come and just talk about your life and how it goes. And some people can learn and some people cannot. I've learned a lot of things from the people that come in here and comment. You know, people say things I'm like, wow, that I'm impressed. And I just, you know, a lot. And David, he's going through his bullshit in his life, as he just said. He's going through serious shit, but he's here. He's here. He's not laying around feeling sorry for himself. He's fucking doing it. And that's respectful to me. You got to have respect for that.
Discipline.
Yeah, and that is. And it takes a lot to discipline yourself, guys. And you know, and it's hard for me sometimes, and I'm sure for you too, Brett, but you can control your emotions. You can control exactly how you feel. You can allow yourself to be over the top angry, which I'm guilty of sometimes, or you can allow yourself, you bet, David, anytime at all. You can allow yourself to be victimized by someone or something, or are you going to stand up and say, I'm not fucking doing it. I don't care. I'm going to go down and get myself some ice cream, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, some shit's going to tear you down. There's a lot of things that happen in people's lives where, I mean, it's home. You know, like I told you today, where are you going to run when the war is in your heart? And it's okay, man. Take a couple weeks, man. Deal with it. Get it out, but get back on the horse, man. I mean, you have to.
And if your people are there for you,
yeah,
and especially if it's more than one and they're saying the same thing, you're wrong. You need to listen to them. You need to listen to them. It's because they've been there. And you know, when I was young, I was guilty of not listening. I'm not going to sit here and say that because I was guilty of not listening. I always ran ahead of the game, man. Then I'd crash out and be like, you stupid motherfucker. We told you, you know, but now I look and I see the same thing, you know, and you can't get it in someone's head. But when you see someone trying, I guess, let me verb it right. The people that you cut out are the people that stop trying. When somebody's trying to fight their war and they need your help and you help them and you get them through the battle, those are your people, man. They don't have to be blood. They can be your friends. They can be acquaintances, but those are your people.
Mm-hmm.
But the person you help all the time and every time you talk to them, it's a problem. Those people right there, man, they got to learn that that's only going to happen for so long. And those people, unfortunately, there's been people like that I've just kind of shied away from. All over the world, all over the country, you know, that I've known, because I have to. Because you begin to be that way. You'll start to hear it so much, and that's your reaction. You start to become that, you know, the old saying, it's easier to yank someone off the chair than it is to pull them up on it. So you got to know when to fold them, man. You got to Kenny Rogers that shit. Know when to hold them. Know when to walk away and know when to run. You got to know, man. You got to know.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody here is perfect, man. I make a lot of mistakes and I've made a lot of enemies, but I try to do the best I can. I don't rip off my people. I don't steal from my friends. I don't steal their energy. I don't steal their money. I don't steal anything. I try, man. And I'm not the best at it, but I do try. And I know that the people here that try and that are there for me, and I respect them too. And that's all it is in the world, man. That's really all you got. That's really it.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, the joy of your animals or your children, in your case, Brett, you know, in the trials and tribulations and the pain and suffering you go through with that, it's all about being alive, man. You know?
Yeah, but I would never have traded any of the lessons that I've learned from it.
Never.
Like we were talking about, man, the hardest thing I told you I did was to forgive myself some of the decisions I made. That was tough, but you know what? You take some time, you reflect, and you don't rush back into any of that dumb shit. You've educated yourself, and I think that's key.
Yeah,
it's very key.
You know, if you teach yourself, and you said forgiving yourself is a hard thing to do because at the end of the day, most of the time it's your fault.
Yeah,
you know, the choices I've made in my life, the suffering that I've been through in my life was my choice. I put myself in those situations.
Oh yeah.
Now there are some people that don't. There are some people that get put in situations that's completely horrible. Wouldn't even need to get into that. But for the most part, we make poor decisions on our relationships, on our jobs, on what we do, the decisions we make with our money, our families. And you're right. I think that's something. I think that was a really valid thing, man. Learn to forgive yourself. That's a tough thing. I think forgiving yourself is the hardest thing, man. I mean, I really believe that. I mean, you really struck a chord with me when you brought that up, and I think that's a critical thing. And we're all about being real here. So I'm just trying to be real. You know, I say things that may be offensive or whatever, but you know, I don't see the world the same way everybody else does anyways, Brett.
Oh, I don't either.
I mean, I know that I'm probably on the spectrum, and it's very It's me, like I don't have a lot of gray. You know, I see something, I laugh. You know, dude, or a long tooth, or something weird. Somebody. It's funny to me. You know, somebody walks up the gas station, explodes. I'm gonna laugh. I mean, I don't have the same. I'm not as bad as Daniel. That some bitch he's going to hell. But I mean, for the most part, I'm just glad that if I go there, I'll have a good friend there to yell at people for me. You know what I mean? Like I'll get down and I'll wake up in hell and oh God, and I'll look across the room and see Daniel. He made it. He made it first. You know. So that's how it goes. Oh my God. I'll see you, David. Thank you, brother. But yeah, so I mean, we just try to do it, and there's some good people on here, man. A lot of the people that have been on the Croc Show since the beginning. I know there's a lot of viewers on. I can see some numbers on some different levels. People I don't know, so probably some people who don't like me, and then some people who do. But we've had some solid people here, and I respect them, man. And tides change sometimes, and I'm going to remember that here, And those people I will remember, and I will. There'll be things that I will do for these people that I probably wouldn't do for other people because they hung out through the long times, through the struggles of what we've been through in life. Doing what we do and coming on this show every week. Okay. I do this for myself and I do this for the people because I'm selfish in a way because I like seeing you guys. I like seeing your comments. I like knowing that you're here. It's great. It's like we have this big thing and we have a place to get away and just kind of say what we want, do what we want. And I like that. So it's an expressive place. And doing this show is not always easy. I couldn't do it last week because I just didn't have the service to do it. Or I'd have done it in the muck out there. Jimmy and I would have done it. We just didn't have the service. So, I wanted to let everybody know. So I posted that we'd be doing it this week. But, it bothers me. When I don't do it, I feel like I'm letting down my crew and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Because I love this. I love coming to the meetings. I know that I get to see you every week, Brett. I know that I get to catch up with Jeff, and Jimmy. And even though I spent a lot of time with Jimmy in the physical, holding hands, showering together, etc. It's still nice to see him in the
for an alleged heterosexual male, you sure say some gay shit about Jimmy, man.
Well, you
makes me wonder.
You have to. If you go through enough trauma with women, you got to think, man, a guy like Jimmy, man, he's sweet, he's loving, he's a good cook, he always smells good,
I'll take your word for it, man.
When you meet him, just smell
no judgment.
Hair. You smell his hair, dude. You'll close your eyes halfway. If you sniff his hair, you'll close your eyes halfway like this. It'll happen. But there's some good people, and in essence, that just shows that I don't hate anybody for what they do in their life, man. I don't hate people for anything like that. I believe have your religion. If you're gay, awesome, dude. I hope you have the best relationship, man. If you're straight, have the best relationship. If you have a good job and you're tied to it, I just respect everybody for everything. Just don't hurt people, man. Don't be hurting people. Don't hurt children. Don't vindictively hurt someone that's less fortunate. Don't do that, man. That to me that's the only thing I don't like. That's the only thing I would stand against, that I would go after somebody for. Just don't do that. You see some shit, man, that, people, and you laugh about it and stuff. But in the end of it, if you had to help them, you'd help them.
Absolutely.
But there's some funny shit, man, I mean, and people are gross and people are cool, but I don't know. I think we get too wrapped up in being correct, like correct. And I don't know. I don't know that. I don't think we should always do that. She said, there's always that one FWB. FWB. I'm going to have to. I mean, I know what I think that means.
What's FWB mean?
Yeah, what's that mean? A friends with benefits? I mean, that's what he's been when we were kids.
That's kind of what I thought too. I just wanted to clarify.
I mean, it could be a lot of things, man. It could be a Friday and Wednesday buddy. Yeah, you don't know. Yep, she was right. Friends with benefits. There's always that one, right? And the benefits don't always mean like bending someone over the water heater, man, and beating it up. It doesn't. Brett, listen, man, for real, it doesn't always mean that. Sometimes the benefits you offer are just being there and loving somebody, man. Or like Heidi said, teddy bear hugs, man. Everybody needs some teddy bear hugs.
Absolutely. I mean, if you really think about it,
she's referring to Jimmy. Concept, she's referring to Jimmy about that.
No, I'm aware. It was clever. I got it. In every relationship you have, like the relationship you and I have, is built on what? Trust, loyalty,
Yeah.
The basics, right?
From
It's going to
almost
be like that with a
being in the middle.
relationship that you're intimate in anyway. So, I mean, I don't know why people always have to label it something different. So,
It's wrong. Yep.
you know, if you're going to be intimate with a woman or a man or whatever you choose to be like, I mean, you're still going to have those core concept values to be accepted.
You know, bro, I gotta tell you, there's people that think they've had crazy lives, man. But we need to write a book. I know somebody tried to get Brett to kill me, man. That's how I met him. They're like, hey, man, this guy. I mean, that's how we met, for those of you that don't know. It was a big thing. It was a big fucking deal. And ever since then, man, we've been tight since kids forever, man. It was like we turned on the masses, and it was one of those cool stories. But like I said, and that's always been like that. Heidi's been a friend of mine forever too, man. I've known her almost my whole life.
Yeah.
And she's always never judged me, dude, when I was different, because I was at a different, that was during a time of evangelism and cut your hair. You remember, Brett, we all grew up in that. And no matter how crazy I was, Heidi was always my friend, man. She never judged me, and I always respected that, you know. And we go out and see her and her family, man, and her husband, you know, Brett, and her kids, man. They're
exceptional people, man. Exceptional.
I'm serious.
Yeah, those guys are awesome.
They're like family, man. We're not even blood, but I feel like that's my family, dude. Like,
yeah.
And that's been for, I don't even want to say how many years, because that would be nice to Heidi, you know. would be nice, but you know, at the end of the day, I got good people like that. People that come in here, and there's people I know personally that are here. There's probably people here watching, and they're important to me, man. And I'm sure there's some to you, Brett. And I think that's all we got. And so, but it's okay sometimes to laugh, guys. My mom said they are family. Thank you, both of you. And I think that we just need to keep that going, man. What's up, Ken? Down, I'm still going strong. Fuck jackass. We built a road around the fence. I'm selling plants better than ever. Come by. You bet, buddy. Good dude. Brett, when we go out there, we'll go visit Ken. He's awesome, man. He's another guy in the animal industry, and he has a great place out there. He lives by my family, dude, and he's a good guy. And I know people always try to get in your way and create roadblocks, so fuck it. He builds around it. See what he said? I built around that fucking jackass.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the problem. We you know, sometimes when we were growing up, I can end it with this, and you remember. When you did some dick shit when you were a kid, you got fucking knocked the fuck out, dude. Your teeth were knocked out. I don't care, dude. You were fucked, right? But you learn from that. You don't make that mistake again. And there's not a lot of that now. People can make a lot of mistakes, and it's like, oh, it's okay, man. You're special. So
the dying breed of male, man. The dying breed of female too. This day and age. I mean, things have changed, man.
There's been a lot of weird things going on in the world. And you know what? It's a lot of them. It's not their fault, man. A lot of them, it's not their fault. It's what they're doing, man. It's this brainwashing of society, this consumption and teaching hatred, but calling it love. You like that? You like how they preach and teach hatred day in and day out, and then they call it love? You like that? I see that all the time, man. I see that all the time in every walk of life. It doesn't matter where you are. And even now in your media and your social media, your news, they teach all this. They teach you how to hate, and they say it's love. You know, you got to do this because it's love. We're going to burn down the whole city, but you have to love us because you did this. You know, and that's fucking terrible, man.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Agreed. But I look forward to meeting a lot of people down there. I can't wait either. We're itching. Coming.
See you guys. Have a good one, beginners. But, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, man, just try to be as loyal as you can to your people, man, that you have. Everybody out there that's watching and listening, just be good to your people, man. Just be good to them, because that's all that's left. Because above us is so chaotic and hectic, and hell above us now, man. We got to do what we got to hear, because what we thought was good up top, it ain't good, man. That shit's rolling downhill fast.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you again, Brett.
Oh, absolutely, Judy. Absolutely. I can't wait to see you.
It's going to be good times. And he's bringing packages this time, Ma. He's got 2 packages he's bringing this time. 2 little Stevens here he's going to be bringing along. So you get to see all 3 of them, man. It's like that Carnation Instant Family there, man. Just water. Just add water. But, you know, I mean, and that's it. You know, I'm looking forward to it, too. It's going to be a good time. We get together. Brett will be out here. We'll be doing some visiting and getting out and checking out people and going down and running around. I'm looking forward to it. And next week we will have Brittany and Jeff back. And Jimmy probably won't be as tied up, and we'll have a really good time. And Brett, as always, so we'll come
Absolutely.
up with things. And like I said, it's always great to hang out with everybody here, and I appreciate everybody coming in.
Yep.
So I'm going to end it. Brett, you sit tight. Don't go anywhere. And then I'm going to end the broadcast. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Try to check everything out. Scales, Tails, and Teeth. Check out some of the stuff he's doing. Jimmy's got his stuff up and running. You've got the hardcore hog nose. Jeff's still at it with the hog nose, even while he's saving lives in the hospital. What's up, Jamie? And I think that you guys should check all that out and see what everybody's got going on. And of course, always at the Motley Croc show, we're always up to something fun. And the more time I get and the more I get to put into stuff, I'm debating on doing a couple more things during the week. And once I have Brett locked down and we got some things going, maybe we'll do some more fun stuff and try to tour around or maybe do some extra videos and really have some fun, get people laughing. I'm all about that comedy. So once again, I appreciate everybody coming out and supporting the Motley Croc show. We love you for it. And thanks. Have a good week. Keep your feet on the ground. And we will see you next Thursday with the whole crew.